Publix announces a recall of 11 ground meat products for the, quote, potential of foreign material. Let's discuss. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another coffee rant with Dano and Frank, the Patriot Bald Eagle. Yes, guys, yet another recall. Another recall with one of our southern states' most popular store, Publix, which Publix isn't just in Florida. It is growing. We are expecting a Publix here in northern Kentucky here in the next couple years, one that I will actually be able to go to. It's about 30 minutes south of here, and they're talking about expanding further north as well. However, today we are discussing a recall that Publix has, and I am reading from the Miami Herald, but you can also find this on several different Floridian websites. One, Fox 35 Orlando, Fox News Orlando. But this one we are reading from the Miami Herald. They go on to say Publix recalls 11 ground meat products. They may have foreign material in them. This is not new to anybody who's been watching the channel. We have discussed several products over the last few months that have had different foreign materials in them. Most recent was the turkey kielbasa by Park Street or Parkview, the one product that was sold at Aldi that has been pulled off the shelves, but that was pretty significant, like 400,000 pounds or something insane. And then we had the dinosaur chicken nuggets, the ones that are shaped like little dinosaurs, kind of, targeted for children. Those had little plastic pieces in them, but those recalls have long since passed. But here we have one new and fresh that we need to discuss. And there is some sarcasm in my voice here because I'll tell you what, these recalls are getting pretty crazy as we continue to get more and more and more recalls pretty much every day now. It's crazy how many there are. But anyway, let's get into it here. Miami Herald goes on to say the good news about this non-food in your food recall, it involves ground beef and pork products sold on one day at one store. So maybe they're having a little bit of sarcasm in that as well. So unless you shopped at 4365 Commercial Way in the Tampa, St. Petersburg metro area of Spring Hill, you're good. At least as far as this recall. Okay. So this was one store, but you know what? The reason why we're actually talking about this is because these things have the tendency to grow. As we've seen with the Rizzo Lopez cheese, right? That went from it's probably fine to, well, I don't know, it's affecting other things too. Affecting Dole chopped salad kits with the little cheese packs in them that has pretty much covered the entire United States now with cases of listeria and things up north to our northern friends in Canada, and it has pretty much spread out all over. So we want to make sure that we are getting this out here just in case. One, we have a lot of viewers in the Tampa, St. Petersburg area, so this video is for you, but also to bring awareness of what happened here so that we can pay attention to in case something like this happens again or if it starts to spread out. Because these things have the tendency to do that. Okay, they go on to say the 11 products recalled are beef and pork for meatloaf, ground chuck, 20% fat, and the the A/B ground chuck, 20% fat, and I guess is that antibiotic free? I don't know what A/B stands for. Let me know down in the comments. I'm not even gonna look it up. A/B lean ground beef, 7% fat. So I don't know why they're saying the fat content and not the lean. So that would be 93% lean. We'll say it that way. Ground round recall, I guess it would be 85% lean, 15% fat. Ground sirloin, 10% fat, which is the 90% lean. It's kind of weird how they have this worded out here. Lean ground beef, which would be 93% lean, 7% fat. Ground chuck burgers, ground chuck slider burgers, Greenwise, which is a Publix, I believe that's their organic brand. Greenwise ground beef, 92% lean, and Greenwise ground chuck, 20% fat, which would be 80% lean. And they go on to say, if you have recalled products, throw them out. Don't throw them out. Make sure you return and get your money. Or return them to the store for a full refund. Any questions can be answered by Publix at 1-800-242-1227. 1-800-242-1227. And now we are going to go to Fox News in Orlando and see what else they have to say about this. Let's see. Products at Florida store. So it is just one store, apparently. It's a voluntary recall. This is coming from Fox 35. So if you live in the Orlando area, you probably know which news station I'm talking about here. We actually, when we travel to Florida, we actually watch Fox 35 because, you know, normally if we're traveling like during hurricane season and stuff like that, nobody knows better than some of the local news stations down in Florida. Fox 35 has actually saved us from going right into a hurricane one time, which was pretty nice. Okay, there is a little more information here. This recall impacts Publix store. The store number is 0457, so store 457 in Spring Hills Lakewood Plaza, the Florida-based grocery chain said in a press release a couple days ago. Spring Hill is located on Florida's west coast, about 80 miles west of Orlando. No other Publix products or store locations are affected by this recall, as Publix said. So that's great. I mean, it's good to see a store that was able to catch it right away in one store. So there were no other deliveries. And that is one thing I do. Publix is always a place that is very particular in the things they do. They stay on top of things. I kind of consider them like Kroger in that respect. Okay, and I know some people are going to be a little angry that I'm comparing Publix to Kroger, but how many recalls do you see from Kroger? Right? How many recalls do you see Kroger have? I haven't seen any. Have you? Not in the last year or two. And if it is, it's something like this. It gets stopped at like one store. It's not spreading out all over the country, right? I mean, and you know, and that could just be a coincidence, sure, because everything's a coincidence these days. Okay, so a little more news here. All the listed products, except for the beef and pork for meatloaf, have a sell-by date of February 15th. So all of them have a sell-by date of February 15th. The beef and pork for meatloaf has a sell-by date of February 14th. So as we go along here, and then they give the same phone number, and then that's pretty much it. So, but anyway, there are no small recalls. Let me start by saying that. I knew when I started doing this, I was like, well, it's not something that's really spreading out too far, but we are going to kind of elaborate on a couple of these things going on. The one thing that we have seen and we've talked about on this channel here is we can't not mention it. We can't not talk about it because, for one, we have thousands and thousands of viewers in Florida, for one, that are hopefully watching this and are being given the news. Now, luckily, it looks like it's been on some local TV stations down there, which is a luxury that a lot of us don't get before it's too late, right? Now, you could say also that today is February 20th, right? And this happened a couple days ago. Well, it's already past the dates. So, you know, and that's where we're finding a lot of this stuff, is where it's too late. And it doesn't go on. As much as I've searched and searched, they haven't said what the material is. I can't find what the material is, right? You know, whether it's something although it's a foreign object, and they do say potential, meaning we're not 100% sure, but we found something. We're not going to tell you, but here it is. Make sure you return it. Or I like how they say throw it away first. Don't ever throw it away. The only way these things are going to ever get fixed is if they start losing money. If they start losing money because of these, then maybe they'll be a little more careful. Because if you throw it away, they win. They got your money, and then they'll probably get your money again, right? Or at least take a photo of it and do what you can to get your money back. I can't imagine that they would want to hold on to make you go through circles to get your money back, because they want to have your business. They want to have your business. And the one in particular, I will say, and you guys know how I felt about the whole Jif recall a couple years ago. Okay, they were very good, from what I understand, at giving everybody their money back. And mostly because it was stores that people were dealing with. It was stores, like Sam's Club and Kroger and all these other places. They were giving everybody their money back. You took it back, you got your money back. You didn't even need a receipt for that. You didn't need a receipt. And Jif made that very clear. And they paid out all that money. And I think it hurt them a little bit, because if you notice, Jif was gone. Jif was gone in all stores for the longest time, for months. So as much as I was talking bad about Jif, I do respect that they did it the right way. That they did it the right way. Now, will Rizzo Lopez food products? Well, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, that's something that, you better not have an issue with giving stores their money back, because what's going to happen is, if you don't, stores will give you your money back that you bought it from. Right? I mean, they should. And if they don't, I mean, I know Jif was honoring this. If they're not doing that with Rizzo Lopez, then more action needs to be taken. Right? Because if they're not honoring their deal, right, for something that's causing an outbreak of listeria right now for those little cheese packets, I'll tell you, and if you have any questions on this, you can look that up on USA Today's website. We always tell you where we're getting our information, so that if you want to look it up yourself, and I recommend it. I recommend checking all this stuff out yourself. Anything that we talk about in these coffee rants, if you don't believe, I'm just the messenger, right? I am just telling you what they are saying, so that we can be a little more prepared, for people that may eat or have these products in their homes. These things, they're getting worse by the minute, by the day. We have recalls every day. I had waited an extra day to do this Publix recall, because for one, I have thousands of fans of Publix on the channel. Do you know how hard it was for me to talk about the whole Cheerios thing? I did not even want to mention that thing about the agricultural chemical in Cheerios and Quaker Oats. I didn't even want to talk about that. I mean, it's crazy, some of this stuff that we're finding out. And if you did not see that video, I did a video on the Cheerios. It was like a day ago. You can check that out. But for one, I was covering that. I couldn't cover Publix and everything else at the same time. I know people were leaving a lot of comments for me to talk about it. But it's just something where I like to do a little bit of extra research too. I don't want to be one to just, oh, wow, I got to put this out here as fast as I can. No, you have to think about these things, because sometimes things get taken back. Sometimes things are a mistake. Another reason why I take screenshots of all this stuff. So if ever it all gets taken down in the future or something, well, this is what they said. You took your site down, but I made sure and took a picture of it, so that we know that, in case anything ever does happen, well, then, we can bring that up as it comes, I guess. But I do my research before we put anything out in any kind of news break or anything on this channel that has to do, especially with food recalls and things, because people could say, people say that, well, Dan, this isn't going in the stores and shopping and stuff like that. And the thing is this is relevant to the channel. This is very relevant, because people are buying these products that we talk about every day on how to find the best deals, right? And as much as I didn't want to talk about the whole Cheerios and Quaker Oats thing, what's two of the biggest items that I point out in videos when we find sales? Cheerios and Quaker Oats. So whether you believe that it is a bad thing or not, do the research yourself. Make sure you're looking it up. Look up Google Cheerios chemical. Cheerios chemicals, and you will just have a onslaught of news stations that have been covering this. We read from USA Today and Forbes. USA Today and Forbes. So if you would like to look that up, I know we had a couple people, one person left a comment saying, oh no, you're just fear-mongering, making this up. Look it up. Look it up. And I know you're just a troll or something, just trolling the channel, but if you were, I wasn't able to get to all those comments because we got a ton of feedback, which thank you all for your comments, and that's what it's there for, so that we can talk about these things, so that the word spreads out of what's going on. We want to make sure, one, everybody is safe, and two, that you have this information at your own computer. I'm just reading this to you. I am just reading this, relaying the message, making sure that everybody is aware of what's going on. So, wanted to tackle that little issue because, yeah, that was, got a lot of feedback from that last video. I want to make sure that everybody, at least who's reading those comments, don't think that, oh, Dan just isn't responding to them. No, I don't respond to trolls in the comments, but I will say it here, and people know this. You'd have to be kind of silly not to know that, well, I could look this up myself, right? I mean... It is what it is. It is. Some people just like to start stuff. But fact of the matter is that everything that we put out on here has been researched, screenshot. It has been taken photographs of. So if something comes back and they say, oh, well, no, this wasn't true. Well, at least I have what is true and what we were reading as far as research has gone in our channel to bring the information to you. But as far as this, it does look like, yes, Publix has this recall that affected just one store. Okay? And like I said, it's kind of, like there's no small recalls though. At first I kind of felt silly, like, well, this seems like it's been a contained problem, but let's go ahead and talk about it anyway for a couple reasons. One, like I said, we have thousands of subscribers and viewers in the Florida area, a couple who I know from St. Pete and Tampa. So we wanted to make sure and get this out here for you. Even if this video was just for you, at least you know about it now. And we know that if there's any more cases of this, well, at least you are aware as well if it spreads out further to any other transportation that may have gone to other Publix. It looks like it's contained. It does. And I hope, and knock on wood it is. But just wanted to get this information out here to everyone so that we are aware of just what's going on and how we can move forward in some of this in the future. But guys, thank you so much for watching tonight's Coffee Rant with Dano. Thank you all. Enjoy the week. I don't know what the weather is like where you live, but it is a beautiful day here today. 55 degrees, sunny, gorgeous. Got out, did some walking today. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe down below. Hit that bell notification so you are aware of our store videos. So that you see our videos that come out at 8:30 a.m. in the morning Eastern Time. I visit Dollar General today. Actually, I went there today. That video is being uploaded. That will be out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. There are some things at Dollar General that will shock you. I shop around, look around for some of the best deals. And it was a pretty good time. There's, like everything, there's prices that look a little funny, and then there's some that look a little good. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great night.